Okay, so I'm back here with you with grand jury versus the probable cause hearing. So you see here that the grand jury is guaranteed in the Fifth Amendment, um, but later on we had some case law come about that established the probable cause hearing that can be used in lieu of the grand jury. Okay, so um, the grand jury is still used exclusively at the federal level because there is no case law or constitutional amendment to change the contents of the Fifth Amendment. So the federal government is stuck with the grand jury and cannot use the probable cause hearing for any reason. Um, so the big thing with the grand jury is it's convened in secret and it's conducted ex parte, which means that it is um, there is only the prosecutor. There is no defense available during a grand jury. And the purpose being that the grand jury is used to establish probable cause. So basically, the prosecutor provides enough evidence and testimony at grand jury in order to obtain a grand jury indictment based on probable cause. Um, the grand jury is still used and or authorized in roughly half of the United States. And you may recall after the shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, that Darren Wilson, um, his case, Darren Wilson was the officer, and that case was referred to grand jury by the prosecutor. And the grand jury there in St. Louis County returned a no bill indicating that they found no probable cause to charge Officer Wilson. So there's a little bit of controversy about the grand jury, and I'll explain why that is here in just a second as I explain the probable cause hearing. Um, so on to the probable cause hearing. It is an open court process presided over by a judge. Um, the defendant is allowed to be present with defense counsel. Defense counsel may cross examine any witnesses that the prosecution provides. They may object to the legality or introduction of any evidence, physical evidence, that is, in the probable cause hearing. So it's much more like most of the hearings that you would see on TV or whatnot, rather than some kind of secret thing, you know. And probable cause hearing is what we use primarily here in Kansas. We do have the authorization in statute to use grand jury in Kansas. Um, and, you know, maybe a controversial officer involved shooting like Darren Wilson and Michael Brown might be the time to opt for a grand jury as opposed to a probable cause hearing. But for the most part, most of the state uses the probable cause hearing all of the time. So, understanding how the indictment process through the grand jury is secret and conducted ex parte and all of this, where the probable cause hearing is open and the press can be there and there's a lot permission for cross examination and such, you can see where there would be um, quite a bit of controversy surrounding such a process as the grand jury. Um, so there's a lot going back and forth here, but it's important for you to understand that there is a difference between the two. The probable cause hearing is considered by many to be more fair than the grand jury process because it's open with a judge who is law trained and allows for defense cross examination and such. But then there are other folks who are hardliner constitutionalists who believe that there should never be a probable cause hearing. It should always be a grand jury hands down an indictment. The difference being that whenever you conduct a grand jury, it is 12 citizens off of the street, just like any other jury. So there are 12 reasonable people in the box deciding whether or not probable cause exists, which is what does kind of make grand jury more fair on its side than the probable cause hearing. Um, it's one of the benefits to the grand jury process, let's say. Um, Whereas on a probable cause hearing, there is no reasonable man standard there. You have a law trained judge or a magistrate um, who at least has solid understanding of the law deciding whether or not probable cause exists. So there's a little bit of controversy, and they both have their plus sides and their downsides, but um, at any rate, um, it's important for you to know those differences. So that will conclude the videos for chapter 1. As always, if you have any questions, please get a hold of me. You have my email, you have my phone number. So please get a hold of me if you have any questions or problems.